Ah, the African savannah, a world of immense scale and breathtaking beauty, where the horizon seems to stretch on forever and the golden light of dawn and dusk paints the land in hues of fire and gold. Here the air is thick with the scent of dry grass and wildflowers, and the only sounds are those of the wind rustling through the acacia leaves and the distant calls of unseen creatures. It's like a kingdom of grass, stretching across nearly 3 million square miles of the continent. From the iconic rolling plains of the Serengeti in Tanzania, where herds of animals move like living rivers, to the arid, sun-baked sands of the Kalahari in Namibia, the savannah is a tapestry woven from countless threads of life. This vast ecosystem is not a uniform expanse, but a rich mosaic of golden grasslands where the flat-topped acacia trees stand like sentinels, their silhouettes etched against the sky. Winding rivers snake through the plains, carving deep channels and creating oases of life in a land often defined by its dryness. The savannah is a place of dramatic seasonal change, governed by a relentless cycle of rain and drought. For much of the year the sun blazes overhead, baking the earth and turning the grasses to a brittle, pale straw. Heat shimmers on the horizon and the land seems to hold its breath, waiting for relief. Temperatures soar above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the only respite comes when clouds gather heavy with promise. Then, with a suddenness that is both violent and joyous, the rains arrive. The annual rainfall, typically between 20 and 50 inches, falls during a concentrated wet season. Torrents of water sweep across the plains, transforming the dusty earth into a vibrant green carpet almost overnight. The air fills with the scent of wet soil, and the land bursts into life. This cycle of wet and dry dictates the rhythm of life. The rains trigger the great migrations. Vast herds of wildebeest, zebra and antelope surge across the plains, following the promise of fresh grass. Calves and foals are born in their thousands, their first breaths taken in a world transformed by water. But the savannah is not just a place of abundance. It is an arena of constant drama, where life and death play out every single day. Predators stalk the herds, their movements silent and calculated, while scavengers circle above, waiting for their chance. The air hums with the sounds of insects, tiny architects building their mounds and tunnels beneath the grass. Flocks of birds wheel overhead, their calls echoing across the open land. At dusk, the distant roar of a lion signals the start of the night's hunt, a reminder that every creature here is both hunter and hunted. From the smallest termite, whose underground cities aerate the soil and nourish the grass, to the largest elephant, whose footsteps carve new paths and whose trunks shape the trees, every creature has a role to play in this intricate web of life. Herds of zebra and antelope graze side by side, ever watchful for the flicker of movement in the grass that signals danger. The defining feature of the savannah is its openness. The wide, sweeping vistas offer few places to hide, forcing animals to rely on keen senses, speed and cunning. Antelope stand alert, muscles tensed, while cheetahs scan the horizon, their eyes sharp and unblinking. Prey animals have evolved to run at breathtaking speeds, zigzagging across the grassland in desperate bids for survival. Predators, in turn, have developed powerful bodies and sophisticated hunting strategies, working alone or in teams to outwit their quarry. The acacia trees offer more than just shade from the relentless sun. They are vantage points for leopards, who lounge in their branches, watching for unsuspecting prey. Rivers, though life-giving, are fraught with peril, as crocodiles lurk beneath the surface, waiting for the herds to cross. In this grand open theatre, the epic story of the African wild kingdom unfolds. Every sunrise brings new challenges and opportunities, and every sunset marks the survival of another day. Here, in the heart of the savannah, the drama of life continues, untamed, unending, and utterly magnificent. The lion, revered as the king of beasts, stands as a living emblem of the wild African savanna. His silhouette, crowned with a dark mane, surveys the golden plains as the first rays of sunlight break the horizon. This is a creature whose story is woven into the very fabric of the land. The ancestors of today's lions first set foot on these ancient plains nearly 2 million years ago, their presence shaping the ecosystem and the balance of life itself. Over countless generations, lions have adapted to the ever-changing rhythms of the savanna, enduring droughts, floods, and the relentless march of time. Yet, despite their enduring strength, the lion's vast kingdom is shrinking. Once, their roars echoed across continents, but now their domain is a fraction of what it once was. Today, only an estimated 40,000 lions roam the wild, a shadow of their former numbers. The open savanna, once teeming with prides, now holds only scattered groups, each a testament to survival against the odds. These magnificent cats are now found primarily in protected reserves and national parks south of the Sahara Desert, their freedom confined to the last wild sanctuaries. Officially listed as a species at risk of becoming endangered, the lion's plight is a stark reminder of the pressures facing wildlife in the modern age. Their future hangs in the balance, dependent on the fragile boundaries of their remaining habitats. The lion's roar, once a thunderous proclamation of dominance, now grows quieter with each passing year. As dusk falls, the sound carries across the grasslands, a haunting echo of a once mighty empire. To witness a lion in the wild is to feel the awe of nature's raw power. The male, with his imposing mane and regal bearing, strides across the savanna with unmatched confidence. A fully grown male can weigh between 330 and 550 pounds, with rare giants tipping the scales at over 800 pounds. Their sheer size and strength are legendary. Standing nearly 4 feet tall at the shoulder, their bodies are built for explosive bursts of speed and power, every muscle honed for the hunt and for battle. The lionesses, smaller and more agile, weigh between 260 and 400 pounds. Their grace and stealth are the pride's greatest assets. Their pale golden coats blend seamlessly with the dry grasses, providing perfect camouflage as they stalk their prey. This coloration also helps them regulate their body temperature beneath the relentless African sun. Lions possess extraordinary senses. Their eyes, adapted for the night, can see 6 times better in the dark than humans, allowing them to hunt under the cover of darkness when the savanna is cloaked in shadow. Unlike any other cat, lions are truly social. They live in family groups called prides, where bonds are forged through grooming, play, and shared hunts. A typical pride consists of 5 to 15 individuals, though some can swell to as many as 40. Each pride is a tapestry of generations, from playful cubs to wise elders. At the heart of the pride are the lionesses, sisters, mothers, daughters, raising their cubs together, watched over by 1 or 2 dominant males. It is the lionesses who shoulder the responsibility of the hunt. With silent communication and perfect coordination, they move as one through the tall grass. Their hunting strategy is a masterpiece of teamwork. Some lionesses drive the prey forward, while others lie in wait, ready to ambush at the perfect moment. Even with such skill, success is never guaranteed. Only about 30 to 40% of hunts end in a meal, a testament to the challenge of life on the open plains. The male lion's role is to defend the pride and its territory, which can stretch from 50 to 150 square miles. He patrols the boundaries, marking his presence and warning rivals with his thunderous roar. Life within the pride is a delicate balance of cooperation and competition. Tensions flare, alliances shift, and every member must find their place in the social order. When new males challenge the resident kings, fierce battles erupt. The victors claim the pride, but their triumph comes at a cost. The new rulers often kill the cubs sired by their predecessors, a grim ritual that ensures only their own bloodline will survive. This act, known as infanticide, may seem cruel, but it is a strategy born of nature's relentless drive for survival. A lioness will not come into estrus while she is nursing cubs, so the loss of her young brings her quickly back into the cycle of life. The new males, by eliminating the cubs, trigger the female's readiness to mate, ensuring the continuation of their own lineage. In the fading light, the pride gathers, cubs tumbling in play, lionesses grooming one another, the dominant male watching over his family. It is a scene of both tenderness and tension, a testament to the resilience and complexity of the majestic lion, whose story continues to unfold beneath the endless African sky. The African wild dog, a marvel of the African plains, is a creature of remarkable endurance and intricate social bonds. In the golden light of dawn, a pack emerges from the shelter of a thicket, their ears perked and eyes alert, ready to face another day in the wild kingdom. Also known as the painted wolf, its scientific name, Lycaon pictus, means painted wolf-like animal, a fitting tribute to its beautifully mottled coat, each patch a brushstroke of nature's artistry. The wild dog's fur is a living canvas, with no two individuals sharing the same pattern. These unique markings are more than decoration. They are vital for recognition within the pack and for blending into the dappled light of the savannah. The story of the African wild dog stretches back through the ages. Their ancestors roamed these lands as far back as 1.7 million years ago, adapting to the ever-changing landscapes and challenges of the continent. Once their haunting calls echoed across vast territories, but now the wild dog's world has shrunk. Their populations have suffered immensely, their numbers dwindling as their habitats disappear. Today, these elusive hunters are among Africa's most endangered carnivores, surviving only in scattered pockets of wilderness, places like Botswana's Okavango Delta and the endless plains of the Serengeti, where the wild still reigns. Their survival hangs by a thread dependent on the existence of vast protected areas. Here they can roam as their ancestors did, covering miles in search of prey and safety. The African wild dog is built for the chase. When the hunt begins, the pack explodes into action, their bodies streamlined for speed and endurance. With lean, long legs and a body weighing between 40 and 80 pounds, they are the marathon runners of the savannah, able to maintain a relentless pace over long distances. Unlike other canines, the African wild dog has only 4 toes on each foot, a unique adaptation that helps them run swiftly and efficiently across the open plains. Their most striking feature remains their coat, a patchwork of black, white and golden brown, each dog a living mosaic. These patterns serve as camouflage in the tall grasses and as a social signature, allowing each member to be recognized instantly by the rest of the pack. The wild dog's true strength lies not in brute force, but in stamina. They can run for miles, their breathing steady, their focus unbroken, as they pursue their quarry across the savannah. In the heat of the chase, the pack works as one. They can reach speeds of up to 44 miles per hour, weaving through the grasslands, their movements perfectly synchronized. For over 3 miles they will pursue their prey, rarely giving up, their determination unmatched. But it is their social structure that truly sets them apart. The wild dog pack is a model of cooperation, with every member playing a vital role in the group's survival. Packs can range from 10 to 40 individuals, each one bound by loyalty and trust. They rest together, play together, and face the dangers of the wild as a united family. At the heart of the pack are the alpha male and female, the leaders who guide the group. Typically only this pair breeds, but the entire pack is invested in the success of their offspring. When pups are born, the whole pack becomes their guardians. Some members hunt, while others stay behind to watch over the young, ensuring their safety and well-being. Before each hunt, the pack gathers in a remarkable ritual. They greet one another with excited chirps and nuzzles, reinforcing their bonds and preparing for the challenge ahead. Then, in a display unique among carnivores, they appear to vote on whether to begin the hunt. Each sneeze a signal, a democratic gesture that ensures the pack moves as one. Only when enough members have signalled their readiness does the pack set off, their unity giving them the edge over even the swiftest prey. During the hunt, their teamwork is extraordinary. Some dogs drive the prey forward, while others flank and anticipate its movements, closing in with precision. This coordinated strategy results in a hunting success rate of around 85%, one of the highest in the animal kingdom. After a successful hunt, the pack gathers to feed. There is little conflict. Even the youngest pups are given their share, a testament to the wild dog's cooperative spirit. The hunters gorge themselves, then return to the den. There they regurgitate meat for the pups and for any adults who stayed behind, ensuring that no member of the pack goes hungry. This deep sense of loyalty and trust is the wild dog's greatest strength. Through grooming, play, and constant communication, the bonds within the pack are renewed each day. In a world filled with larger, more powerful predators and ever-increasing threats, it is this unity, their unbreakable bond, that allows the African wild dog to endure, a testament to the power of cooperation in the wild. As the first rays of sunlight spill across the African savanna, a vast and ancient stage is revealed, one where every creature is locked in a relentless contest for survival. Here, the air is thick with tension, and every shadow could conceal a rival or a threat. The savanna is not just a home, but a battleground where the rules are written in tooth and claw. Predators move with silent precision through the tall grass, their eyes fixed on the horizon, always alert for both prey and competitors. Every hunt is a gamble, and every meal is hard won. Among the most dramatic rivalries is that between lions and African wild dogs. Their encounters are fraught with danger, each side acutely aware of the other's strengths and weaknesses. The lion, with its immense size and raw power, dominates the landscape. Its mere presence can send a ripple of fear through a pack of wild dogs. When a lion approaches a fresh kill, wild dogs know the odds are stacked against them. The lion's strategy is simple: intimidate, overpower, and claim the prize. This act of stealing food, known as kleptoparasitism, is a constant threat for wild dogs. Their carefully coordinated hunts can be undone in moments by the arrival of a single lion. The aftermath of these confrontations is often brutal. Injured wild dogs limp away, their hard-earned meal lost, the cost of competition written in scars and empty stomachs. In some cases, the consequences are even more severe. A recent study in 2024 found that 80% of direct clashes between lions and wild dogs end with the death of a dog, a sobering statistic in this unforgiving world. Even a single lion can scatter a pack, its confidence and strength unmatched. When a pride moves in, the outcome is often devastating. An entire family of wild dogs can be wiped out in mere minutes, their cries echoing across the plains. Wild dogs remain ever watchful, their senses tuned to the presence of their greatest adversaries. But lions are not the only threat. Spotted hyenas, cunning and relentless, are formidable competitors in their own right. When wild dogs and hyenas meet at a carcass, the air crackles with tension. The outcome depends on numbers, courage, and sometimes sheer luck. A large pack of wild dogs, working in perfect harmony, can hold their ground against a handful of hyenas, their unity turning the tide in their favour. In these moments, the wild dog's teamwork shines. A study from 2023 revealed that when they outnumber their rivals, wild dogs win 60% of these high-stakes encounters. But the tables can turn in an instant. Hyenas, with their powerful jaws and overwhelming numbers, can quickly surround and overpower even the bravest pack. Despite their rivalry, a fragile balance exists. Wild dogs are pursuit hunters, chasing healthy prey across the open plains, while hyenas often scavenge or target the weak and vulnerable. The wild dog's hunts are a spectacle of speed and stamina. Their coordinated chases a marvel of natural teamwork. Hyenas, ever opportunistic, wait for their moment, scavenging leftovers or singling out the weakest members of a herd. Yet the savannah is home to more than just these rivals. It is a stage crowded with skilled hunters, each with their own strategies and strengths. The cheetah, a master of speed, glides across the plains, its slender form built for explosive acceleration. In just 3 seconds it can reach 60 miles per hour, closing the gap between itself and its quarry in a blur of motion. But this incredible speed comes at a cost. The cheetah's hunts are short and exhausting, and success is never guaranteed. Even after a successful chase, the cheetah's ordeal is not over. Its lightweight frame makes it vulnerable to stronger rivals. Packs of wild dogs or even a lone hyena can drive a cheetah from its kill, forcing it to surrender its prize without a fight. The cheetah must eat quickly, every muscle tensed, every sense alert for the approach of another predator. It is a life lived on the edge, where a single moment's hesitation can mean the difference between sustenance and starvation. In the savannah, hesitation is a luxury few can afford. The ever-present threat of competition means that every meal is a race against time and rivals. Then there is the leopard, a shadowy figure moving with silent grace through the undergrowth. Solitary and elusive, the leopard is a master of ambush, relying on stealth and patience to secure its meals. With powerful jaws and unmatched strength for its size, the leopard can drag heavy prey across the ground, determined to keep its catch. Sometimes it will haul its kill, sometimes heavier than itself, high into the branches of a tree, out of reach of ground-bound thieves. From this lofty perch, the leopard can eat in relative peace, while hungry eyes watch from below, frustrated and powerless. Lions, hyenas and wild dogs circle beneath the tree, hoping for a scrap to fall. But the leopard's strategy keeps its meal safe. Each predator, from the mighty lion to the elusive leopard, has carved out a unique niche in this intricate web of competition. Yet their territories and hunting grounds often overlap, their paths crossing in a never-ending dance of rivalry and survival. In this wild kingdom, every day is a test of strength, strategy and endurance, a high-stakes battle where only the most adaptable survive and the web of competition binds all in its invisible threads. The East African savannah awakens beneath a vast sky, its golden grasses stretching as far as the eye can see. This breathtaking landscape, sculpted by the relentless forces of nature, is a living testament to the Earth's restless spirit. At the very core of this region lies the Great Rift Valley, a monumental scar etched deep into the planet's crust, stretching for nearly 3,700 miles from the Middle East down through eastern Africa. This immense rift is the result of two colossal tectonic plates, the Nubian and Somali, slowly drifting apart over millions of years, tearing the land and leaving behind a landscape of raw, untamed beauty. Over 35 million years, this slow-motion upheaval has given rise to a mosaic of towering volcanoes, shimmering lakes and fertile plains, each shaped by fire, water and time. Here the land is never still. Volcanoes erupt, lakes expand and contract, and the earth itself seems to breathe, creating a dynamic environment where life must constantly adapt. The Great Rift Valley is often called the cradle of life, For it is here that the story of evolution has played out on a grand scale, shaped by the ever-changing land. The unique geology of the valley has preserved the remains of countless creatures, their bones locked in the earth, telling tales of ancient worlds and vanished species. In these layers, the secrets of the past are written, stories of giant beasts, of predators and prey, of survival and extinction. Each fossil, each bone, is a fragment of a much larger narrative, one that stretches back millions of years. These discoveries have illuminated the origins of life in Africa, revealing how the shifting land has shaped the creatures that call it home. The valley is not just a geological wonder, it is a living museum, where the drama of life and death unfolds against a backdrop of ancient earth and sky. Nestled within this ancient rift lies the Serengeti, one of the most celebrated ecosystems on the planet. The very name Serengeti, from the Maasai word Seringet, means the place where the land runs on forever, a fitting description for this boundless wilderness. These vast plains cover more than 12,000 square miles, a sea of grass that stretches from horizon to horizon. The Serengeti is the beating heart of the Savannah, a sanctuary for an astonishing array of wildlife, from the smallest insects to the mightiest predators. Here, the eternal struggle between predator and prey plays out on a scale unmatched anywhere else on Earth. The health of this ecosystem is vital, supporting some of the largest and most diverse animal populations left on the planet. The Serengeti is perhaps most famous for the Great Migration, a spectacle of life and endurance that is unrivaled in the natural world. This is the largest overland mammal migration on Earth, a journey of survival and instinct. Each year, driven by the promise of fresh grazing and water, over 1.5 million wildebeest, joined by hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, set out on a perilous 500-mile journey. Their path takes them from the southern grasslands of the Serengeti to the northern reaches and back again, a never-ending cycle dictated by the rains and the rhythm of the land. Along the way, they face countless dangers, from prowling lions and swift cheetahs to the giant Nile crocodiles that lie in wait at the river crossings. This epic journey is a testament to the resilience and determination of life in the wild kingdom of the Great Rift Valley and the Serengeti. Each year, as the first distant rumble of thunder rolls across the horizon, the plains of Africa awaken to one of nature's most astonishing spectacles. The Great Migration is not merely a journey, it is a living, breathing force, powered by the relentless hunger and instinct of the savannah's great herbivores. At the heart of this movement is the wildebeest, or gnu, whose numbers swell into the millions. They move as a single, undulating mass, their hooves drumming a steady rhythm into the earth, their bodies pressed together for safety and strength. With their shaggy manes, sloping backs, and curved horns, wildebeest may appear awkward, but every feature is honed for survival. Weighing up to 1/4 ton, they are built for endurance, able to travel vast distances in search of life-giving grass. As they graze, their massive herds sweep across the plains like living lawnmowers, cropping the grasses and stimulating new shoots. In their wake the land is renewed, a patchwork of green that beckons them ever onward. The wildebeest are guided by ancient instincts, their senses attuned to the scent of rain and the promise of fresh pasture. They follow the storms, chasing the shifting boundary between drought and abundance, their journey a ceaseless quest for survival. When the herds reach the rivers, the air vibrates with tension. The wildebeest gather at the banks, their numbers swelling until, as if by silent agreement, they surge forward, plunging into the water in a desperate bid to reach the other side. The river crossings are perilous, but the drive to survive is stronger than fear. Alongside the wildebeest travel the zebras, their black and white stripes weaving through the sea of brown bodies. Together, these two species form a formidable alliance, each benefiting from the presence of the other. The zebra's striking coats shimmer in the sunlight, a living mirage against the golden grass. Yet these stripes are more than decoration. They are a shield, confusing the eyes of predators and making it difficult to single out a target. When danger approaches, the herd erupts into motion, stripes blurring together in a dazzling display that bewilders even the keenest hunter. In unity, there is safety. Zebras, weighing up to 700 pounds, are more than just companions to the wildebeest. Their presence is vital to the ecosystem of the plains. Unlike wildebeest, zebras have a taste for the longer, tougher grasses. Their powerful teeth and digestive systems allow them to tackle what others cannot, clearing the way for the more selective grazers that follow. As zebras trim the tall blades, they leave behind a buffet of tender shoots, perfectly suited for the wildebeest. This partnership ensures that every inch of the savannah is used, nothing wasted, everything renewed. Roaming the grasslands as well is the formidable Cape buffalo, a creature of immense power and presence. With their thick, curved horns and muscular frames, they are a force to be reckoned with. Unlike the migratory wildebeest and zebra, Cape buffalo are residents of the plains, their herds a constant, watchful presence. Weighing over 2,000 pounds, they graze steadily, shaping the landscape with their sheer numbers. Cape buffalo live in tight-knit groups, their bonds forged by the need for protection. When threatened, they form a living wall, horns out, ready to defend against any predator. Few dare to challenge a herd of buffalo. Their collective strength and unpredictable nature make them one of the most dangerous animals on the plains. Even the mighty lion, king of these grasslands, must weigh the risks before attempting to bring down a healthy adult buffalo. The balance of power is always shifting, but the buffalo's reputation is well earned. Their horns, sweeping outwards in a formidable display, are both weapon and shield. Together, the herd stands as a bulwark against the dangers of the wild, earning the Cape buffalo a place among Africa's legendary Big Five. The plains are alive with diversity. Gazelles leap through the tall grass, impalas gather in skittish groups, and giraffes stride gracefully above the sea of green. Each species, in its own way, contributes to the intricate web of life. These herbivores are the great converters, transforming the sun's energy, captured by the grasses, into life-sustaining nourishment for themselves and ultimately for the predators that follow. Their endless movement sculpts the land, preventing the encroachment of shrubs and trees, maintaining the open grasslands that define the savannah. The abundance and vitality of these herds are a living barometer of the ecosystem's health. When the herds thrive, so too does the land and all who depend on it. The epic march of the herbivores is the heartbeat of the Serengeti, a timeless cycle of movement, consumption and renewal. Their story is written in the grass, in the dust, and in the endless horizon where life and survival are forever entwined. The timeless rhythms of the African savannah are now facing an unprecedented challenge, one that is rarely seen directly, but whose effects ripple through every blade of grass and every shadow beneath the acacia trees. The growing footprint of humanity is not always visible, but its presence is felt in the very fabric of the wild. One of the most significant threats is habitat loss. Where once the savannah stretched unbroken to the horizon, now there are silent scars, patches of bare earth where trees once stood, and the hush of displaced wildlife where birds and insects once filled the air with sound. As human populations expand, vast areas of savanna are quietly transformed. The golden grasslands give way to neat rows of crops and the subtle geometry of fields, their boundaries marked not by the tracks of elephants, but by the straight lines of ploughs and irrigation ditches. The wild is pushed back inch by inch as the land is claimed for food and shelter. This fragmentation of the wilderness is not always obvious from the ground. But for the animals that roam these lands, the world has become a patchwork of isolated islands. Wide-ranging species like lions and wild dogs find their territories shrinking, their ancient paths now interrupted by invisible boundaries. Ancient migration routes, once as reliable as the seasons, are now blocked by unseen barriers. Fences and cultivated fields cut across the savanna, forcing herds to turn back, their instincts frustrated by obstacles they cannot understand. The flow of life is interrupted, and with it the exchange of genes and the renewal of populations. This relentless encroachment pushes wildlife into ever smaller pockets of their former range. In these shrinking refuges, animals are forced into closer quarters, competition intensifies, and the risk of conflict grows, not just with each other, but with the invisible presence of humanity at the edges of their world. Disease is another grave danger, its arrival often silent and unseen. The presence of domestic animals grazing at the margins of the wild brings with it invisible threats, viruses and bacteria that leap from one species to another, carried on the wind or in the water, leaving no trace but the sudden stillness of a fallen animal. African wild dogs, with their intricate social bonds and tireless energy, are particularly vulnerable. Their packs, once thriving, can be devastated by a single outbreak, the cause unseen but the consequences all too real. Outbreaks of canine distemper and rabies, carried invisibly across boundaries by domestic dogs, have swept through wild dog populations like a shadow, leaving silence where there was once the chorus of a hunting pack. These diseases move swiftly through the tightly knit families of wild dogs, erasing years of careful conservation in a matter of weeks. The loss is not just of individuals, but of entire lineages, their stories ending before they can be told. Lions, too, are not immune. The invisible hand of disease reaches them as well, carried by the wind, the water, or the very prey they hunt. The close proximity of livestock and wild animals creates a silent bridge for pathogens. In the dust where hooves mingle, in the water holes where all must drink, diseases pass unseen, finding new hosts among creatures with no natural defences. The direct persecution of wildlife also continues, its effects felt in the wary glances of animals and the sudden emptiness of once crowded places. The threat is not always visible, but its shadow lingers. Poaching, driven by distant markets and ancient grievances, leaves its mark in the silence of vanished herds and the absence of familiar tracks. The conflict between wild and domestic, between tradition and survival, plays out in the landscape itself. Lions are sometimes lost not to the hunt, but to retaliation for livestock lost, or for the value of their bones and claws in markets far from the savannah. Their absence is a wound that does not heal. Snares set for bushmeat are hidden traps that do not discriminate. They wait, silent and patient, for any creature that passes, cheetahs, leopards, wild dogs, leaving behind only the evidence of suffering. The constant pressure from hunting and trapping is felt in the nervous movements of animals, in the sudden flight at the crack of a twig, in the emptiness where once there was abundance. And above all, the overarching threat of climate change is altering the very nature of the savannah. The changes are subtle at first, a shift in the timing of rains, a new pattern in the growth of grass, but their effects accumulate, reshaping the world in ways that are both profound and irreversible. Global warming brings more erratic weather, storms that arrive out of season, and droughts that linger longer than memory. The sky itself seems to hold its breath, uncertain of what will come next. In the Great Rift Valley, the air is warmer than it was a century ago. The subtle rise in temperature is written in the parched earth and the shrinking waterholes, in the struggle of plants and animals to adapt. Droughts come more often, and when they do, the rivers run dry, the grass withers, and the animals must travel farther and risk more to find what they need to survive. Longer dry seasons mean less food for the grazers, and as their numbers dwindle, so too do the predators that depend on them. The web of life, so delicately balanced, begins to fray. The savanna, shaped by millennia of natural cycles, now faces disruptions that echo through every living thing. The future of this iconic ecosystem is uncertain, its fate written not in the actions of humans themselves, but in the silent, far-reaching consequences of their presence. Across the endless golden plains, the savanna's wild inhabitants face a daily struggle for survival. Every sunrise brings a new set of challenges: predators on the prowl, prey on high alert, and the ever-present threat of drought and hunger. In this vast, untamed world, the balance of life is delicate, and every creature must fight to carve out its place. The Serengeti and Masai Mara, stretching as far as the eye can see, are sanctuaries where the drama of life and death unfolds each day. Here, herds of wildebeest thunder across the plains, their hooves kicking up clouds of dust as they migrate in search of fresh grass and water. Within these protected lands, elephants lead their families to hidden waterholes, zebras graze in tight-knit groups, and antelope keep a watchful eye for danger lurking in the tall grass. These sanctuaries offer a fragile refuge, shielding animals from the relentless advance of human settlements and farmland. For apex predators like lions and wild dogs, survival means constant vigilance. Lionesses stalk through the grass, muscles rippling as they close in on unsuspecting prey. Wild dogs, with their boundless energy, coordinate in perfect harmony, chasing down antelope with relentless determination. The savanna's lifelines, ancient migration routes and hidden corridors, connect these strongholds, allowing animals to move freely in search of food, water and safety. These pathways are vital, especially during the dry season, when resources become scarce and competition intensifies. In the heart of the wild, technology quietly aids the fight for survival. Hidden sensors and remote cameras blend into the landscape, silently recording the movements of elusive leopards, shy antelope, and the rarest of scavengers. GPS collars, carefully fitted to lions and wild dogs, reveal the secret journeys of these predators, how they patrol their territories, avoid rivals, and care for their young. Each data point tells a story of adaptation and resilience. The information gathered from these devices paints a vivid picture of life on the savanna, showing how animals respond to shifting seasons, changing landscapes, and the ever-present threat of drought. Camera traps, hidden along well-worn animal trails, capture fleeting moments. A leopard slinking through the shadows, a herd of buffalo crossing a river at dawn, or a cheetah pausing to drink under the cover of darkness. High above, drones glide silently, their cameras scanning the vast expanse for signs of movement. From this vantage point, the intricate patterns of migration and the subtle shifts in herd behavior become clear, revealing the interconnectedness of all life on the savanna. Even the smallest creatures play a part in this struggle. Wild dogs, vulnerable to disease, rely on the invisible shield of preventative medicine to keep their packs strong and healthy, ensuring that the next generation can thrive. Along the borders of the wild, a protective barrier is formed, not of fences but of immunity. By halting the spread of deadly diseases, the wild dog's fragile future is safeguarded and the balance of the ecosystem is preserved. Each vaccinated animal becomes a sentinel, standing guard against invisible threats that could devastate entire populations of wild carnivores. The health of the savanna's wild inhabitants is inextricably linked to the well-being of every creature that shares this land, from the smallest rodent to the mightiest elephant. As the sun sets, the savanna comes alive with the sounds of life. Lions roaring in the distance, hyenas calling to one another, and the soft rustle of antelope moving through the grass. Each night is a testament to the resilience and determination of the animals that call this place home. The future of the savanna depends on the strength and adaptability of its wild inhabitants. Every day they face new challenges, but through cooperation, instinct, and the wisdom passed down through generations, they continue the fight for survival. The savanna's story is one of hope and endurance, a living tapestry woven from countless acts of courage, ingenuity, and perseverance. As dawn breaks once more, the wild kingdom stands ready to face another day, its future uncertain but its spirit unbroken, a testament to the enduring power of life on the African savanna. The African savanna is more than just a collection of animals and landscapes. It is a vital part of our planet's natural heritage. Its vast grasslands play a crucial role in regulating the global climate, storing vast amounts of carbon in their soils and vegetation. The intricate web of life it supports, from the tiniest insects to the largest mammals, represents millions of years of evolution. The loss of this ecosystem would not only be an ecological catastrophe, but also a profound loss for humanity. Protecting the savanna is not just about saving lions or wild dogs. It is about preserving the health and stability of our shared planet. The survival of these incredible animals is a measure of our own humanity. Creatures like the lion and the painted wolf embody the spirit of wildness, a spirit that has inspired us for centuries. They remind us of a world that is bigger than our own, governed by ancient rhythms and natural laws. To allow them to vanish would be to lose a part of ourselves, a connection to the natural world that is essential for our own well-being. Their future is inextricably linked to ours. The challenges they face, habitat loss, climate change, disease, are challenges that affect us all. The fight to protect this wild kingdom is a testament to what we can achieve when we work together. The successes of national parks, the innovations in conservation technology, and the growing collaboration with local communities show that it is not too late. There is still hope, but this hope requires unwavering commitment and continued action. It requires a global understanding that these wild places have intrinsic value and a right to exist. It demands that we make conscious choices to reduce our impact on the planet and support the efforts of those on the front lines of conservation. In the end, the fate of the African savanna rests in our hands. It is a legacy that we have inherited and a responsibility we must bear for future generations. We must ensure that the roar of the lion continues to echo across the plains, that the painted wolves continue their relentless chase, and that the great migration continues its timeless journey. By protecting this magnificent wild kingdom, we are not only safeguarding a world of breathtaking beauty and incredible biodiversity, but we are also preserving a vital piece of the Earth's soul and our own. Gap 2S. As the sun dips below the horizon and the African savanna is cloaked in darkness, a different world awakens. The nocturnal creatures of the savanna emerge from their daytime hideaways, embarking on their nightly quests for survival. This is a realm of shadows and whispers, where the cover of night offers both protection and peril. Gap 2S. The African civet, with its distinctive black and white markings, prowls stealthily through the underbrush. Its keen sense of smell guides it to a feast of insects, small mammals and fallen fruits. With retractable claws and a flexible body, the civet is an adept climber, often venturing into the trees to hunt or escape danger. Gap 2S. Nearby, the aardvark begins its nightly excavation. With powerful limbs and shovel-like claws, it digs into termite mounds with remarkable efficiency. The nocturnal aardvark relies on its acute sense of smell to locate its prey, and its long, sticky tongue to extract the termites from their fortress. This solitary creature is an unsung hero of the savannah, playing a crucial role in controlling insect populations. Gap 2S. High above, the African Scops owl perches silently, its camouflaged plumage blending seamlessly with the tree bark. With extraordinary night vision and acute hearing, it scans the ground below for signs of movement. In a swift, silent swoop, the owl captures an unsuspecting rodent, demonstrating its prowess as a nocturnal predator. Gap 2S. On the ground, the pangolin makes its way through the darkness, its armoured scales providing a formidable defence against predators. This elusive mammal feeds primarily on ants and termites, using its strong forelimbs to break into nests and its long, sticky tongue to gather its prey. The pangolin's nocturnal habits and secretive nature make it one of the most mysterious inhabitants of the savannah. Gap 2S. As the night deepens, the chorus of nocturnal life reaches a crescendo. The calls of the nightjar, the distant roar of a lion, and the rustle of unseen creatures create a symphony of the wild. Each species, with its unique adaptations and survival strategies, contributes to the intricate tapestry of life in the African savannah. Gap 2S. The nocturnal world is a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of nature. In the cover of darkness, these creatures thrive, navigating the challenges of their environment with remarkable skill. As dawn approaches and the savannah is bathed in the first light of day, the nocturnal animals retreat to their hidden refuges, waiting for the night to fall once more. Gap 2S. The secret lives of these nocturnal beings remind us of the endless wonders that the natural world holds. They are a vital part of the ecosystem, each playing a role in maintaining the delicate balance of the savannah. By understanding and protecting these creatures, we ensure that the magic of the night continues to enchant and inspire us for generations to come. Gap 2S. Beneath the towering grasses and among the roots of ancient acacia trees, a hidden world bustles with life. Here, insects and small creatures are the unsung heroes of the African savannah, quietly performing roles that keep the ecosystem in balance. Gap 2S. The termite, often overlooked, is a master builder. Working together in vast colonies, these tiny engineers construct elaborate mounds that can tower several meters above the ground. Their underground tunnels aerate the soil, allowing water and nutrients to reach plant roots, and their constant activity recycles dead plant material back into the earth. Gap 2S. Nearby, armies of ants patrol the savannah. Some species act as nature's cleaners, feasting on the remains of other animals. Others, like the driver ants, move in coordinated columns, overwhelming prey many times their size with sheer numbers and teamwork. Their relentless work ensures that nothing goes to waste. Gap 2S. Dung beetles, often seen rolling balls of dung across the plains, play a vital role as well. By burying and consuming animal droppings, they return nutrients to the soil and reduce the spread of parasites. Each beetle is a tiny recycler, helping to keep the landscape healthy and fertile. Gap 2S. Even the smallest creatures, like the leafcutter bee, have a profound impact. These industrious pollinators ensure that wildflowers and acacia trees can reproduce, supporting life up and down the food chain. Gap 2S. Spiders, centipedes and other invertebrates are equally important. Some are skilled hunters, controlling populations of pest insects. Others are prey themselves, providing nourishment for birds, reptiles and mammals. Gap 2S. Together, these tiny architects form the foundation of the savannah's web of life. Their constant, unseen labour shapes the land, supports larger animals, and keeps the ecosystem thriving. Without them, the magnificent world above would quickly unravel. Gap 2S. As the camera draws back, we see that even the smallest inhabitants play a mighty part in the story of the African savannah, a reminder that every creature, no matter how small, has a role to play in the grand design of nature. Across the African savannah, time is measured not by clocks, but by the changing seasons. The landscape transforms with the rhythm of drought and rain, each cycle bringing new challenges and opportunities for the creatures who call this place home. Gap 2S. As the dry season descends, the grasses wither and waterholes shrink to cracked mud. Herds of wildebeest and zebra move in search of the last remaining pools, while elephants dig into the parched earth with their tusks, unearthing hidden reserves of water for themselves and other thirsty animals. Predators too feel the strain as prey becomes scarce and every hunt grows more desperate. Gap 2S. In the heat of the day, many animals retreat to the shade, conserving precious energy and moisture. Some, like the resilient oryx, can survive for weeks without drinking, relying on moisture from the plants they eat. Reptiles and insects burrow deep into the cool soil, waiting out the relentless sun. Gap 2S. Then with the arrival of the rains, life returns in a dramatic burst. Thunderclouds roll across the sky, and the first drops awaken seeds hidden beneath the dust. Grasslands erupt in green, and rivers swell, carving new paths through the plains. Migratory herds return in vast numbers, followed closely by predators eager for the hunt. Gap 2S. For many species, this is a time of renewal. Birds build nests and raise their young in the safety of thick foliage. Frogs emerge from their hiding places, filling the night with chorus. Even the smallest creatures, from beetles to butterflies, seize the abundance, feeding, breeding, and playing their part in the great cycle. Gap 2S. The seasons of the savannah are a test of endurance and adaptability. Each animal, plant and insect has evolved remarkable strategies to survive the harshest droughts and make the most of the fleeting rains. In this ever-changing environment, only those who can adapt will thrive, ensuring the savannah story continues with each passing season. Across the savannah, every day is a test of wits and instinct, a relentless contest between predator and prey. For the hunters, success depends on patience, stealth, and teamwork. Lions stalk through the tall grass, using the wind to mask their scent and the golden light to blend with their surroundings. They coordinate silently, flanking their targets and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Cheetahs, built for speed, rely on explosive bursts of energy, closing the distance before their quarry can react. But the hunted are not defenseless. Antelope and zebra graze in groups, their eyes and ears constantly alert for danger. At the first hint of movement, alarm calls ring out across the plain, sending the herd into a coordinated dash for safety. Some, like the impala, zigzag at full speed, making it harder for predators to predict their path. Others, like the wildebeest, use sheer numbers to confuse attackers and increase their odds of survival. Predators adapt, changing their tactics with the shifting seasons and the habits of their prey. Wild dogs hunt at dawn and dusk, using stamina and close cooperation to wear down even the most agile antelope. Leopards, solitary and secretive, use trees and rocky outcrops to ambush unsuspecting victims. Each species refines its approach, learning from every failed attempt, yet prey animals evolve too. Some develop acute senses, spotting danger from a distance. Others grow faster or stronger over generations, outpacing the slowest hunters. Even the youngest must learn quickly, their survival instincts honed by the ever-present threat. This never-ending contest shapes the savannah itself. Every chase, every escape, and every narrow miss is part of a delicate balance. Predator and prey, locked in an evolutionary dance, drive each other to greater heights of speed, intelligence and resilience, ensuring that the savannah remains a land of both danger and wonder. Beneath the golden grasses and scattered acacia trees, a hidden network supports every creature of the savannah. Plant life is the quiet architect, forming the foundation of this vibrant ecosystem. The tough blades of savanna grass withstand trampling hooves and grazing mouths, regrowing quickly to feed vast herds of wildebeest, zebra and antelope. These herbivores, in turn, become the lifeblood for predators, linking every meal back to the sunlit fields. Acacia trees with their umbrella canopies provide shelter and food for giraffes, elephants and countless birds. Their deep roots draw water from parched soil, helping them survive the dry season and anchor the landscape against erosion. Elephants break branches and strip leaves, shaping the trees and opening up new spaces for grasses to grow. Even the smallest plants like wildflowers and shrubs offer nectar for insects and seeds for birds and rodents. The cycle continues underground, where roots and fungi form intricate partnerships, enriching the soil and storing nutrients. When animals graze, they fertilize the earth, ensuring that new growth flourishes. As seasons change, the savannah transforms, lush and green after rains, then golden and sparse as water becomes scarce. Through drought and flood, fire and renewal, plants persist, adapting to the rhythm of the land. Without this living web of plant life, the savannah's animals would vanish. Every leaf, blade and blossom plays a part, supporting a world where life depends on the quiet strength of the flora. Here, the story of survival begins not with the hunt, but with the first shoots of grass reaching for the African sun. Across the endless horizons of the African savannah, life is always on the move. Each year, millions of animals embark on epic migrations, guided by ancient instincts and the promise of survival. Wildebeest, zebra and gazelle thunder across the plains in one of the world's greatest spectacles, chasing the rains in a relentless search for fresh grass and water. Their journey spans hundreds of miles, crossing rivers teeming with crocodiles and navigating landscapes fraught with predators. But the Great Migration does not belong to mammals alone. Above the herds, the sky fills with the wing beats of migratory birds. Storks, swallows and raptors traverse continents, riding the winds from Europe and Asia to find sanctuary in Africa's rich wetlands and open fields. These feathered travellers face their own perils: storms, exhaustion, and the ever-present threat of hunters. For both birds and beasts, migration is a test of endurance and resilience. The rhythm of their travels shapes the savannah, fertilizing the soil, dispersing seeds, and sustaining countless predators along the way. Calves are born into the chaos of movement, learning to run within hours, while young birds must master flight to survive their first crossing. Obstacles are many. Droughts shrink watering holes, fires block ancient routes, and hungry hunters lie in wait. Yet, driven by the cycles of rain and sun, these animals press on, their journeys woven into the fabric of the land itself. In the heart of the savannah, migration is not just a journey. It is the pulse of life, connecting distant places and generations through a shared, timeless quest for survival.